walk through the valley of the shadow of hell, you will realize that there is something ahead. Something that lurks behind the dark veil. A veil that is beyond our own comprehension. Beyond the void.
What's up, guys, and welcome back to Beyond the Void
Horror Podcast.
That's right, we're back. It's Thursday. Woo!
Woo!
For all you movie lovers, we got some cool movies that we picked out for this week, so we hope you like them. We picked Maniac Cop versus
Scanner Cop.
Ooh, and which one will be the winner?
That's an easy one.
Yeah, it is. It is kind of an easy one for us, and I was a little surprised by it.
Yeah.
I was
agree.
a little surprised by the outcome, but you'll have to stick around to the end to find out which one we like the most, but you'll probably figure it out as we go. So if you haven't already, we do have an episode up on Monday. We did a grave plot, which was really cool, called Gory Games. And if you haven't already seen the cover for that, I probably put some work into it. I don't know what I've done yet because I haven't done it yet, but but I hope I did a good job, Alex. Yeah, hope you did. Anyway, but guys, if you want to check that out, you go to longlivethevoid.com and check out that episode or our SoundCloud, YouTube, whatever. But also, just as a note, to remind you, we are doing a big box giveaway, guys. So we're still doing this. It's going to be October 11th or 12th that we're going to do the cutoff, whatever the Thursday is that day, because we're going to announce the winner on our Thursday episode on that day. So if you haven't already, go to BTV, the VIP club, on our longlivethevoid.com and sign up. All you're doing is signing up an email. We're not going to spam you every fucking day. It's none of that. It's really just to let you know that we got a brand new episode up so that you know that we have an episode out. And by signing up, you enter yourself into the contest. There's going to be movies, gift cards, like stickers, tons of fucking awesome swag from fucking Brittany's collection. Mm-hmm. So she's donated a lot. Christina's going to decorate the box up. It's fucking awesome. Last winter we had, loved it. So we're trying to do a little bit better each time to try to give you guys something every quarter.
Yeah, you have like less than a week to sign up and get involved and get ready, and it's a really cool box.
Yes, I think you'll be pleased. So if you haven't already, sign up. If you have, you're already entered. So,
yeah.
But I think without further ado, I think we should jump into our flesh and potatoes segment of Maniac Cop versus
Scanner Cop.
All right, we are back, and let's drop the fucking hammer on these goddamn fucking movies. We're getting fucking crazy cop killer fucking shit going on, things. I don't know what I'm saying.
Stuff. Shit.
So, what should we kick it off with first?
Let's kick it off with Maniac Cop, since
Okay.
we started with Maniac Cop in our introduction.
Okay.
So, if you guys aren't aware, Maniac Cop came out in 1988. It was directed by William Lustig, who also did Maniac Cop 2 and 3.
Right.
And also did Relentless and Vigilante.
Nice. And what's the story about?
So, innocent people are being brutally murdered on the streets of New York City by a uniformed police officer.
Oh my God.
As the death toll rises and City Hall attempts to cover up, Frank McRae heads the investigation.
Yeah.
Whatever. A young cop, Jack Forrest, finds himself under arrest as the chief suspect, having been the victim of a setup by the real killer and a mysterious woman phone caller. Forrest, his girlfriend Teresa, and McCrae set out to solve the puzzle before the Maniac Cop can strike again.
Maniac Cop.
Maniac Cop.
Jesus
You know,
Christ.
it's so glorious. So glorious.
That's a pretty
I'm
cool.
sorry.
I mean, to be honest, if I heard that, I'd be like, what's that about?
Yeah, I mean, it's super interesting to anyone who's never heard of it before. I mean, the story was written by Larry Cohen, who
Okay.
also wrote Body Snatchers, It's Alive, and A Return to Salem's Lot.
Right.
So it's a really interesting, fun, kind of different storyline that is a little bit more relevant to today's.
No, I agree. Yeah, and Larry Cohen's done a lot. I think he's also a producer, right?
He is. Yeah, he has his hands in a lot of cookie jars. So
Yeah.
he does quite a bit. But this film in particular does star Tom Atkins, who plays McCrae.
Fuck yeah.
Exactly.
Thrill me, motherfucker.
Who is also known for his roles in My Bloody Valentine,
Right.
Escape from New York, and Night of the Creeps.
He's done so many fucking amazing
lot.
cop movies. Like, he's always the best cop. Like, Tom Atkins is the fucking shit, guys.
He's the man.
Like, he's got
Pretty
the
much.
best sarcastic attitude for a cop in movies ever.
Yeah, he's pretty fucking glorious.
Yeah,
in just
I
about
love
anything
him.
he's ever in. But this also stars, which we both forgot about, the fact that this had this actor in this movie, but it does also star motherfucking the Djinn himself, Bruce Campbell.
Right.
Who plays Jack Forrest, who, as if you don't know who Bruce Campbell is, I don't know who you are. However, he is known for his roles in Evil Dead, Army of Darkness, and also Escape from LA.
Many movies and TV shows.
Many other things. If you're a big fan of Burn Notice,
Right.
which, I only watch the episodes
Jack of
with
all
Bruce
trades.
Campbell in, so
I think he was even in Xena and
he's in a lot of shit.
right.
This film also stars Laureen Landon, who plays Officer Mallory, who's in It's Alive 3. She was in an episode of Masters of Horror in 2006.
Right.
She played the character Birdie,
Okay.
I believe. And she was in Samurai Cop 2.
Right. And I think
She's in a lot of stuff.
didn't Larry Cohen do the Larry Cohen did the It's Alive series.
Yes, he did.
So that he's definitely like that's probably why.
Right.
Yeah.
He's worked with her before. He knows her capabilities.
And it's so funny because a lot of these actors, like there's some of them that are in Pet Sematary, which we talked about last week, and it was like Scanner Cop, similar things. There's like all this like connection somehow.
We always end up having some weird connections.
Right.
Every time we do an episode, we always have some weird connections, which is super interesting to me.
Right.
But Richard Roundtree, who plays Commissioner Pike, who is most widely known for his roles in Shaft
Yeah.
and Seven.
And
And he was also in one of like my favorite movies ever, which is Corky Romano.
oh, I have that movie, but that's my
Everybody
friends.
knows him from that movie.
Want some cookies?
Oh my fucking God. I can't. And want to buy a boat? Want to buy a boat? Oh my, I can't.
Poor Chris Kattan.
I love Chris Kattan.
He went
and
away.
I love that movie. I don't even give a flying fuck what anybody says. I love Corky Romano. It's hilarious. It also has Robert Zidar, who is the Maniac Cop himself, who is in a lot
Yeah.
of shit.
Most notably known for Maniac Cop, though.
He was also in The Night Stalker, and he was in a movie called Postmortem and The Killing Game.
Right. Yeah, he's been a lot of bad.
But
He's played a lot of bad guys.
He was in Maniac Cop and Maniac Cop 2.
And was he in 3?
I don't
thought
believe
he was in 3.
in 3.
Really?
I don't believe he was in 3. I could be wrong, but
You could be. It's been a while.
I don't believe he was in 3. I think he's just in 1 and 2.
He's got the massive jaw. He's got like the
it's
most
creepy.
famous jaw in the industry.
Yeah, which is a fun fact we'll get into a little bit later.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. Also, the last person I wanted to touch on that's in this movie is William Smith, who played Captain Ripley, who was in a lot of stuff, mostly TV series. Like he was in Chips.
Okay.
And
The original.
And a lot of other like television cop series. But he's also in Terror in Beverly Hills, Warriors of the Apocalypse, and Deadly Breed, which are some of the things that our loving fans out there
Probably
may know him better for.
Yeah.
So, and also the music I wanted to touch on for this. The music for this movie was done by Jay Chataway,
Okay.
who also did Maniac Cop 2, but he did a lot of the music for Star Trek Voyager, the TV series.
Okay.
And most recently, he did the remake of Poltergeist in 2015.
Okay.
So he did the music for that as well.
I felt like he's like an action music maker. Because
Yeah.
the one song that stood out to me was the chase scene at the
Yes.
end. And like, it was just like...
What he's most notably credited for, especially for Maniac Cop, is that, actually,
Okay.
which is interesting that you touch on it. This movie had a budget of about $1.1 million. Estimated, and it was a big fucking flop.
Did they actually make it to the theaters with this one? Because I didn't
They did.
This was your research, baby.
They did, but opening weekend, it grossed in the United States about $188,000.
Wow. Wow.
And in total, the total gross for this movie was $671,000.
That's better than I expected.
Which is, I agree. I was actually kind of surprised by it. I was like, oh shit, they did better than I thought they would have done.
Right.
But it's still really sad for a movie that has Bruce Campbell in it.
Yeah.
That was a $1.1 million estimated budget.
And it's so weird too, because like he's like kind of the main star in the movie.
In a way, but
you also see Tom Atkins more. I thought he was going to be the star.
So did I. Like it almost like you'll see more of Tom Atkins than you do of Bruce Campbell, like throughout the entirety of the film. However,
right.
Bruce Campbell's character goes from the beginning to the end, and he comes back in the second one. And I just want to touch on the fact of how glorious their fucking reveal for Bruce Campbell was, because it was fucking hilarious. Because this is after, like, at the tail end of Evil Dead and everything, so everybody knows who fucking Bruce Campbell is.
Yeah, you see the back of him the whole time.
They spend a solid, like, 2 minutes of like him and his wife like having this conversation where he's getting ready and you just see the back of him,
right?
And you know from the back of him that it's fucking Bruce Campbell. Like
I didn't know. I was like, who the fuck is this guy?
Oh, as soon as I saw his name roll in the fucking credits in the beginning of the movie, like as soon as they showed the back of him, I know that butt.
Okay.
I know Bruce Campbell from the back. Like, trust me.
Oh wow.
I still have a big old crush.
Dark and sexual.
It is dark and sexual. I still have a big old fucking crush on Bruce Campbell, so I fucking knew. I like smacked my husband on the arm and I was like, this fucking Bruce
he
Campbell.
was just in town today.
I know he was. He was at Dobson High School.
I missed it because I didn't make money.
So
I didn't
have
have
yesterday.
enough money.
It was last night. And I was mad because I like worked too much and I couldn't make it. And I was super pissed because I really wanted to go because I love him. What are your thoughts on this movie, Alex?
Well, since you asked. No, I feel like they sort of try to make a supernatural cop into a sort of slasher. And some of the music almost reminds me of Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yes.
Like, very much. Like, it's almost like they were like, okay, we're going to make a cop movie, and it's going to be, like, supernatural. So we got to do something along the lines of Freddy. And he was like, he took it literally. Yeah. And he, like, went, the guy that wrote, what was his name again?
Jay Chataway.
I feel like he kind of took it too literally. And, like, there is, like, he's hitting all the beats of Freddy.
You're right.
But I don't feel like this is a strong... I'm not trying to put this down, guys. I don't feel like it's a strong slasher movie. It is interesting enough that I want to watch the rest of the series. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. It just reminded me of Nightmare on Elm Street.
So if you really want to break it down,
well,
this movie did better rating-wise than Scanner Cop.
We're not going to talk about that yet. Tom Atkins, though, is in it, and that's a huge bonus to me. First of all, he's a fucking badass motherfucker. Mm-hmm. He's a bamf.
Yeah.
He plays a great friggin' cop, too. He thrills me with his wit. Bruce Campbell's in it, so you kind of have to pay attention, even if it's not the best role I've seen him in. He does a decent job at a cop. It's not the first time he's played a cop. He's actually been a cop in Intruder, which is like the supermarket killer thing, but he's only in it for like a brief second. Mm-hmm. Sam Raimi's in that movie. Ted Raimi's in that movie. But he kind of plays too much of a straight-laced kind of character in a way, and Bruce Campbell is such a character actor and like really, I don't want to say flamboyant, but just like he was too straight-laced for this role.
Agreed.
So, and I think he was just trying to take it seriously at this point. He was like, I want to be a real actor.
Yeah,
I don't want to just be Evil Dead.
Yeah, someone take me seriously. I'm not just Evil Dead and Army of Darkness.
But
I'm not just Ash.
I like the idea of, a cop who's supposed to be there to help you, who gets wronged by the government or the people that run it. And he gets thrown in jail, and criminals fucking kill him, and then he exacts revenge on the city. And it's like anybody is at fault because they let this happen to him somehow.
Nobody's safe.
Yeah. So it's interesting, and I mentioned this before, like it's interesting the parallels that they have between 1988, which aren't too dissimilar than today.
In 2017.
Because there's a segment in the movie where they talk about, like, they talk to the people in the street when they know that there's this maniac cop out there killing people. And they have interviews, and, like, it's, like, different for each person. Like, everybody's scared of him, but he's like, well, cops kill people all the fucking time. They kill my friends. I don't know. He's like, so I'm used to that, I guess. It's just being a cop. And I was like, damn, that's like today. That's how people feel today.
Yeah, they do that brief little, like, reporter series where they talk to a couple of different civilians.
Right, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, it's interesting, though, to know that. You know what I mean? Like, it was an interesting... I'm glad that they added it. Like, they had the forethought to add it.
Yeah.
But there's also a lot of, like, heavy, sexually misogynistic shit in this movie. But, you know, you kind of expect that a little bit.
Yeah.
It is an 88 film. We weren't really out of the woods just yet.
Just yet.
But what about you?
I actually really liked it.
Yeah?
I did, and I was surprised that I enjoyed it as much as I did. I mean, like, it's a little bit of a convoluted story and a little bit fucking stupid and out there, but I did like the concept and the idea that they had behind it.
Yeah.
It was really
pretty
interesting,
simple,
and they followed it pretty well, and it was for the most part, a very simple story.
Yeah.
And I felt like they executed it decently for a movie in its time. I felt like they did a really good job, and I can see how it became a cult classic like it did, because it is a fun film to watch. Like, you're not bored at any point in it.
Well, I have some thoughts.
It can be.
I was a little bored.
Yeah, there's some parts where you're just like, oh, Jesus.
I feel like it really got its wings when the second one came out a little bit, because then it was like balls to the wall.
Yeah.
Like, you can't take that movie seriously, but Tom Atkins is in it, so it's like, fuck.
Yeah.
But go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
That's okay. He's just fun. I love him.
Okay.
He's incredible, and I was a little sad when his character got thrown out a window onto a car.
What did you think about the kills in this movie, though?
My only issue with that is they didn't, like, the ones that they showed and they spent time on showing were just blah.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I didn't like about it.
That's my biggest takeaway issue that I had.
There was no creativity in the kills.
Exactly. But the ones that they showed they're dead. They don't show the killing, but they showed the finality of it.
Yeah.
Those are fucking tits.
Yeah.
They're so fucking cool. Like, the final, like, ending towards it with all the cops that get killed in the fucking station. Amazing.
It's amazing in the sense that I wish it's amazing
touched on it.
That they didn't show them getting killed.
I wish they would have
showed it. They wanted it
it
to be this shock element so that you were like, oh shit, everyone's dead.
Which I get. Like, I understand why they did it, but I wish they wouldn't have done it that way. I wish they would have done, like, a side cutaway.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like,
show it.
If it's a slasher, fucking treat it like a slasher.
Exactly.
Like, start picking people off, and, like, there's a B story going on in the background, and people are getting picked off slowly, and then everyone's dead. Like, get to that point. That's what I didn't like about it.
I completely 100% agree with you on that.
Yeah, I didn't like the kills. I thought they were boring as shit.
No, the ones they showed are boring.
Although he did throw that chick down on the ground really hard. That was kind of funny.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a mat, but
they were just so stereotypical. Like, they were exactly what you thought they would have been. Like, they showed this, like, oh, I'm going to unsheath my fucking knife thing that's, you think is going to be a bully stick or whatever those fucking things are called. Nightstick. Mm-hmm. But it's not. It's a fucking knife that's sheathed into this thing. Like,
he only uses that once, though,
and I'm like, the knife?
Yeah.
He uses it multiple times.
I think he did it twice. I can't remember.
Bare minimum twice, but it was multiple times. And I'm just like, okay,
it's a signature
wasn't
weapon.
as cool the first time, and now you're using it again. And it's
right. Well, he was just choking people out. That's what I didn't like. I'm like, dude, stop choking people, dude. Like, it's not interesting.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, snap their neck or rip their head off.
Cool. Well, he essentially snaps the chick's neck in the beginning, right? Isn't
right.
It like sort
but
of
it was
like an internal decapitation, pretty much is what he ends up doing to the chick and the bartender girl or whatever in the beginning.
Mm-hmm. I still like it. I don't know.
I really liked the concept of it.
It would have been better if they had better kills.
It was a cool story, but I agree. Like, I feel like that they wasted the kills that they should have highlighted are the ones that they didn't, and the ones that they did, they wasted that time on. So I wish that they would have done the cutaways, like, sequence into him breaking into the police station, him killing these cops and killing these people to get into where he was, instead of them, Mallory and Forrest coming out of this interrogation room and discovering all these fucking dead cops.
Right. And of course, it's the
all
typical
these
story.
Crazy ways that they're fucking dead too, which is awesome. But there's just it's a finale element of it. There's no cool reveal onto him doing it. It's just oh, they're dead. This guy's hung by his belt, or this guy's got this happening, or this guy's dead standing there in a jail cell. You know what I mean? There's no cool reveal up to the point.
Dude, they could have slammed his head. I don't want to ruin the kill scenes, but there really wasn't any kills.
No.
They're just they're dead scenes. Mm-hmm. That's all they were. That's what kind of bothered me. And maybe there was a budgetary restraint or something like that, but I don't know.
I feel like it had to be something like that, but whatever. I don't know. I was a little disappointed about that too. But going back to touch on your comment about Bruce Campbell.
Oh, okay.
Earlier, he was actually reportedly admitted that he only did this film because he needed work.
Right. It's one of those jobs.
And that he has said that he didn't think this film was any good. Yet he signed up to do part 2. But
right. Well, it's money.
It's money.
Yeah.
So, which I always found that to be interesting, that he's just straight up I did this because I needed a fucking job. I needed to pay my keep my lights on and put food on my table, and this movie sucks, dick.
That happened with Anthony Hickox, who's a really good director. He's picked all these movies that he didn't need to pick.
Yeah.
Because he needed to put food on the fucking table, man.
Yeah, shit happens, man.
Right?
And it's I don't know. I feel like this film could have been just the same without Bruce Campbell. I felt like they didn't utilize him the way they should have.
Well, it's one of those situations.
Same with Tom Atkins. I feel like they didn't utilize him the way that they should have.
Well, it's like the Jim Carrey thing, or I don't know, when you see a comedic actor or comedian or whatever, and you're used to seeing them be silly and goofy and kind of all over the place and strong. When you see them play normal roles, it just throws you off. Yeah. And that doesn't mean that all movies are bad that do that. What was it? Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind?
Incredible.
It was an incredible movie. It's sad as fuck, and it makes you want to break up with the person you're with.
Yeah, but then there's also for Robin Williams, you've got Patch Adams,
sure,
which is an insanely great movie, or you have 1 Hour Photo,
yeah,
which is completely fucking underrated. I love that.
I saw that in the
movie.
Theater, actually.
So did I, and
yeah,
it's incredible. And he's also in World's Greatest Dad.
Yeah. Oh, I love that movie.
That movie's fantastic.
That's dark humor, though.
He is what? Oh, we need to do a whole thing on 1 Hour Photo or something. I don't know, because I can go in Robin Williams and his dark fucking acting forever, because he was incredible. But I agree with that, because he is very much more. Bruce Campbell is very much more a comedic sort of / horror actor,
right? Which is shitty, because doesn't help him, because he has to either be typecasted or nobody can break free from him being that character.
Which was why I was always kind of a little bit taken aback when he agreed to do Ash versus the Evil Dead.
Right.
Because he has been trying so hard to break that mold that he created with Evil Dead and Army of Darkness.
Right.
And Bubba Hotep and everything like that, and he's tried so hard to break that typecasting mold for his character. You can see it's evident in films like Maniac Cop and his roles in Burn Notice and anything that he's done basically since the fucking 80s.
Yeah, well, he plays a sleazy, smoozy kind of...
Yeah, he's tried so hard to break that mold, but then when it comes to Ash versus the Evil Dead, he goes right back into it.
You know what? One of the movies that he did that I liked is the Mind Warp movie. He was actually pretty decent in that. I didn't get distracted from his old...
No.
I thought it was a decent role.
He's a good actor.
Yeah.
And that's I get sad sometimes, because he does get typecasted into certain roles, but you can tell he's picking certain roles because he needs to fucking feed himself.
Oh, I'm loving the fucking Ash versus Evil Dead.
I'm still at a love-hate crossroads with
where
that
have
show.
you been? How far along are you?
I'm midway through season 2.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, you haven't hit the part yet then.
No, I'm not there yet.
Oh, God.
I'm not. But
dude,
I'm late. I'm late to the party on that because I didn't have whatever fucking stars.
Yeah.
Whatever television show it was on, or station or whatever, and I finally started watching it, and I was super behind on it, and I am still at this love-hate crossroads of I love it, but at the same time I'm like, eh.
Well, Anyway.
We'll get there.
Yeah. What kind of other trivia do you have, though, other than that?
So
I'm glad that he agrees with me, though.
Right. A fun thing that I had, that both the actors that played the protagonist, which is Bruce Campbell's character, or Officer Forrest, and then the antagonist, who was Robert Zidar, who played Maniac Cop, they actually both have the character nicknames, or the nicknames in general, of the Chin.
Oh,
For their professional acting life, which is
that's
super
a good point.
interesting to me, which I found that hilarious, because I'm like, holy shit.
Their chins are like
I didn't
famous.
even think of that, but
Yeah.
they both are for their own separate ways.
Right.
You know, and they're both named or called the Chin, or known by the Chin, but for two different reasons as to why they would be known for that. But in their own ways. Like, it's completely a separate thing based on each actor.
It is definitely different, because Zidar, and unfortunately he passed away. What was it, in 2015?
I believe you're right.
Yeah, I mean, no offense to him or anything, but one of them can walk through a door without banging their chin.
Bruce Campbell.
Sorry, I couldn't help it.
It's so oh my god, it's just
One of them can wear a regular
he
helmet.
died-
One of
he-
them can't.
He died March 30th of 2015, so he died 10 days after my birthday.
I liked him as an actor. I thought he was
he's
very
just-
unique.
He's so fucking just, oh my god, dude.
Yeah,
It's like
that
over
chin.
plastic surgery kill looking.
If
It's
chins
just-
could kill.
that would be the chin that would kill me. Like, that's the chin that walks into the room and slits my fucking throat, because it's got its own fucking body. Like, it's a nightmare.
It's got legs and arms and
It's
shit.
crazy, and it gets worse throughout his career.
Yeah, it
Like,
gets
if
a
you
little
watch,
bigger.
like, from the beginning, his career started in, like, the 50s?
I don't know. I didn't check that far back.
Like, very, very early on. And fuck, dude. Like, it just gets worse. Like, from the beginning to the end of his career.
Yeah.
It just gets bigger.
But hey, man, it stands out.
It does.
Sometimes you need to stand
Yeah,
out.
it does. It walks into the room before he does. Sorry. Sam Raimi actually had bit role in this. He had a cameo appearance. I don't know if anyone caught it, but he was the parade reporter.
Yeah, I caught it.
I did too, but I don't know if anybody else who actually watched this movie caught it. But it was a fun little thing. Like, I smacked Mouse, and I'm like, Sam Raimi. He's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I think to myself, like, if Bruce was like, Sam, you got to come out here, buddy. I fucking can't handle this movie. You know what I mean? Like, you got to come out here and help me out. So they just fill him in. Because, I mean, no offense to Sam, but he's not the greatest actor. But he's an amazing director. But
He is. He's not the greatest actor. I mean, a lot of them aren't. I mean, like,
he just did it. It's a small role. It didn't need to be anything special.
I mean, not everybody can be Eli Roth. Like,
Right.
Eli Roth is pretty
does that mean?
sort of decent at both, I guess.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Like, the directing and the acting
Yeah,
element.
he's kind of like...
But you look at him in
He's
his,
driving down the road. He's not wrecking.
Yeah, but
Well,
you
sometimes.
look at him in his role in Inglourious Bastards.
Oh,
And
yeah, that's a good
he's
role
my
for
favorite
him.
character.
Yeah, definitely.
He's what saved that fucking movie for
I
me,
think he
'cause
did a really good job. Better than Brad Pitt, in my
he
opinion.
was better than Brad Pitt. That movie is not my favorite by any means. I did not like it.
The guy who plays the Nazi is
He's incredible.
the best.
He's the best.
Yeah, he's the best. Well, back to the...
Anyway, but that's a good
But yeah, I
comparison.
feel like he just asked him to do him a favor because he was bored.
Exactly.
Like, that's what it feels like.
And it's just like, oh shit,
He may have been friends with Larry Cohen, though.
Holy
so.
shit, you know, like, it was a really cool little thing.
It was a welcome surprise.
to look at. It was.
Yeah.
It was interesting.
Anything else on the trivia?
I don't. There's not a whole lot,
A lot of interesting stuff?
Interesting trivia.
Well, neither of these
It's-
movies really did.
It's mostly like little cameo pieces, but the only one worth mentioning I felt like was for Sam Raimi.
All right.
Like, they actually credit Roundtree as a cameo as Commissioner Pike, and I'm like, no, that's a straight up role. It's not a cameo. It's not necessarily a cameo.
Right.
He has more than one fucking word that he says, or like one little bit. Like, he's in it for a couple scenes, but and he gets killed. So
Right.
that's pretty tits. But
Yeah. I felt
everybody's
like
like Shaft. Blah, and I'm
there
like,
was
oh
some
my God, calm
decent
down.
scenes in here that I thought were funny, but I had a kind of a little bit of a tough time. It was more me going, "Oh, that was just a weird situation" or anything.
Mm-hmm.
One of the first ones that I noticed that I thought was kind of cool was the lady got so scared about cops, like they were trying to instill that
Oh.
fear. So she's like, "You're not taking me," and she kills an actual
She
cop.
shoots that poor young
Yeah,
cop. cop.
right in the
Yeah.
head, and then it's like, damn, lady.
Right. Well, how do you go from 0 to 190?
Yeah,
In 2
everybody's, this is
seconds.
the panic that was in the streets about Maniac Cop.
Right, which I understand, and that's, again, how this is so crazy to how it feels so relevant to today.
Right, yeah.
And that's just what, like, just blows my mind going back and watching this. Because I watched this a long time ago, and then going back to rewatch it for our
It's been a while for me, too.
Yeah, it's been several years, and I just remember sitting there going, holy fuck. This is so relevant to what we're dealing with as a society now. It's crazy.
Well, and I'm glad that they touched on, like I said, on those different
The
ideas.
viewpoint, yeah.
But I think, and I'm not trying to like preach some sort of politics or anything, but I think people thought of cops back then a little bit
Way differently.
than they do nowadays.
Way differently.
Yeah. So, did you have any other favorite scenes, like other than?
Officer Forrest and Officer Mallory are coming out of that interrogation room where they were held, or whatever, when like shit starts fucking going down.
Okay.
Like after he kills Sally and the commissioner and
Is Sally his girlfriend?
the chick that took him home from the hospital,
Okay.
or the prison hospital, or
Yeah,
whatever.
to give you guys a quick idea, by the way, so essentially what happens is, like I mentioned earlier, Cop was kind of an aggressive cop, but he got the job done.
Right.
He was a really good cop, technically. This is what they say. But he got in trouble through some legal bullshit, however you want to spin that.
He got caught. It's police brutality.
Yeah, he got basically police brutality for probably people who deserved it, but it's the law not to do that. So he got thrown in jail with all the other people, and all the people that he put in jail essentially killed him.
Yeah, they. It's a really cool scene, actually.
Yeah, the
Which
shower scene.
I
yeah.
loved. The shower scene's incredible when he gets like brutally attacked by like 5 different dudes in this shower scene. And then they talk about later on, they introduce how Sally has
His girlfriend.
connection to him and how she gets her disability that she has, which I thought was really interesting, how they kind of tied that all in together.
Right.
But yeah, so she ends up taking him home from the infirmary, and it was like the medical examiner like was in on it and like released him to her, and but he's like, but he was brain dead, that's why I did it, and whatever.
There's some loose holes in there.
A lot.
Yeah.
There's like big major fucking loose plot holes in that
Yeah,
shit.
they don't just let
But-
some body go unchecked.
No, and he's like, but when I signed the death certificate, I wasn't lying. He was dead, and blah blah blah. And I'm like,
Yeah,
you don't-
that was
okay.
ridiculous. Are you trying to make me lose my job? You're 78.
If you have to do an autopsy, you're not going to sign a fucking death certificate until
Right.
after you've done the autopsy.
Right.
So you're lying. But anyway, so
So you like the shower scene, though?
the shower scene was amazing. Like it was
Okay.
actually really cool, and how they did it was like kind of American History X, but before American History X.
Well, you just like the way that the water poured off his chin
Ew, no.
and his ass.
So
Because they
gross.
kind of show his ass a
They
little
do,
bit.
and it's not. No, it's not. It's not good at all. But how that scene was filmed is
Right.
interesting. Like that scene on its own is really really cool. Like how he tries to fight them off, and how he almost beats his attackers essentially.
Yeah.
When fighting them off, and then how they end up getting him, and they slice his fucking mouth, and they slice his
fuck
face
him up
all
bad.
up. They fuck him up. Like nobody could survive that ideally,
Right.
and it's just done really cool.
Yeah.
And it's almost poetic in a way.
Yeah.
I know, it was really interesting.
There was some funny parts though in it that I thought were like not real serious. Again, I'm like pointing the things
almost
that
the
I
whole
liked
movie.
was just how ridiculous some of it was.
Yeah.
Like there was a part where he was grabbing Sally, his girlfriend, who was like aged really old, and she had a broken leg, and he's all like slamming her up against the wall like
Yeah, and
over
that's
and
how
over.
she dies.
Yeah. I'm like, what the fuck?
That's what I said. I'm like, wow, he must have slammed her into the wall real fucking hard if she's dead.
It was kind of funny. And then immediately after, Tom Atkins comes in the room and sees it happening, and she's dead. And then Maniac Cop just starts manhandling and throwing around Tom Atkins like a fucking rag doll.
Yeah.
Which kind of sucked because it was like, damn, dude, Tom, what the fuck? Stand up, motherfucker.
Yeah. He's a badass, and he's portrayed like this giant pussy in that scene. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Right, but
Like,
everybody's tried shooting Maniac Cop, and he doesn't even flinch. Like,
Right.
nothing he does. So it's like almost impossible to kill Maniac Cop or even move him. He's like a fucking rock.
Yeah.
But then the fateful end,
when he gets like
spoiler alert.
impaled.
Yeah. Well, no, because he throws Tom Atkins out the window after that
Oh,
part.
yeah.
And I was like, wait, Tom's dead?
Tom's dead? Yeah, I was so fucking annoyed.
And then
I
it was
so
like,
mad.
and then it was like he handed the keys. He like threw, hey kid, check it out. And he threw the keys to Bruce, and then Bruce becomes the main role at this point.
Yeah, and it was bullshit.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, I
Bruce's
was like,
Campbell was Bruce's Campbell.
Bruce's Campbell was delicious soup.
Bruce's character was basically fucking useless at that point. And then all of a sudden, he's handed the fucking keys to the driver's seat of like taking over Tom Atkins' role, and I'm just like, no, I don't agree.
And then Bruce Campbell's girlfriend, who is a
screams all
she's
the
like
time.
a fucking undercover cop. She plays a prostitute on the street to kind of catch guys who are paying for sex. And there's a part where they bring her in because nobody believes her or him. Bruce Campbell's getting blamed for all these murders because fucking Maniac Cop.
Maniac Chin. That would have been a better title.
But Maniac Cop is like him and his girlfriend before he killed her, or set him up. And so nobody believes him. They think it's the perfect reason why they're both killing people. And it's just kind of ridiculous, but they put her in handcuffs. He's like, take her down, blah, blah, blah. The commissioner asks the police to arrest her in his office as he goes down to the fucking Irish parade, the
St. Patrick's Day
St.
parade.
Patrick's Day parade.
Yeah.
She's like, wait, you're not booking me? And he's like,
Oh, and they get that super rapey guy.
yeah, he's like, what's the rush? We got the commissioner's office all to ourselves.
So
and I'm like,
fucking unnecessary.
I'm like, what? I guess.
I think the point to build up for that was so you would be happy when he died.
Right. It was just that extra, like, salt in the
It
wound.
was just stupid.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Like I just remember being pissed off. Like,
but
when watched
I
that.
wasn't
I'm just like,
pissed.
God,
I was just like,
fucking damn it.
oh, come on.
But then I'm like, oh, it's the 80s. This makes sense. But I was just like, God, I did the same thing. I'm like, really? Really? Like, this is where we're going with
I mean,
that.
it didn't
Okay.
offend me because I'm not a girl. Maybe it didn't offend me that much for that reason.
didn't
but
necessarily offend
but
me,
I
it
thought it
was
was
just annoying.
super bad.
It was
like,
annoying and unnecessary. It
Yeah.
didn't offend me. It was just completely fucking unnecessary to the
Right.
story.
Do you have another scene? And then we'll wrap it up.
As I was getting to touch on earlier, the scene where they come out of that interrogation room, and they start to see all the dead cops kind of strewn about in like all these different various ways that they've been killed.
Right.
Which I wish they would have shown all of those, which we did talk about earlier. But I loved how that was done. It was super interesting, and they had a lot of really cool little deaths that they did, and I wish they would have shown it, which would have made it a whole much better. But
I really
it was
just
cool.
I feel like no scenes really stood out for me.
Oh, no.
Like, and I'm not trying to be rude or mean. I know this is a beloved fucking franchise
cult
to
classic,
some people.
Alex.
I don't dislike the movie. I like it. I eventually want to buy it, but it's not something I'm rushing out to
No,
fucking get.
I see where you're coming from.
It's just one of those movies. It's like, oh, what do I got to watch? You know, like,
I guess I gotta watch Maniac Cop.
yeah, like I don't know. No offense to anybody. If you love it, I totally understand. Like, it's your cup of tea. It's not mine.
Yeah, if you've never seen it, there's some good actors that are in this that almost make it completely worthwhile. Like,
You got Tom Atkins and Bruce Campbell, so it's okay in my book.
give it a fucking watch. It's not the worst fucking movie you're ever gonna see.
Right.
I guarantee it.
And now that we've finished up Maniac Cop, I think it's time that we step into the Scanner Cop territory, which it's pretty interesting because I didn't know this because I've always watched Scanners 1, 2, and 3. I own 1. I've watched 2 and 3 after I got that online somewhere. But technically, it's the 4th Scanners
Right.
in the franchise, but it's the first Scanner Cop in the series. So this movie came out in 1994. The story goes, Sam, a rookie cop with the Los Angeles Police Department, is also a scanner, psionic. When a string of murders begin to decimate the police department, Sam faces sensory overload and possible insanity as he uses his powers to hunt down the man responsible for the killings. It was directed by Pierre David, who was also a producer of a lot of different Cronenberg films. He, including the original Scanners. He also produced Videodrome, one of my favorite movies. The Brood, which is one of David Cronenberg's first movies. And he also produced Visiting Hours, Scanners 2, and Scanner Cop 2. And Platoon is probably his biggest peg in his production resume. That's what got him all the jobs. But boy, has he strayed. His shining star from Platoon has definitely been a little, less bright with Scanner Cop. But I love this movie. But plus, he did direct another movie, because this was his directorial debut, was Scanner Cop. But he also directed another movie called Serial Killer with Tobin Bell, who is the killer in the Saw franchise.
Right.
The cast includes Daniel Quinn, who plays Sam. He was in the movie Rubber, which I love. Wild at Heart, which I love. He returned for Scanner Cop 2. He was also in Wrong Cops, which is directed by the same guy who did Rubber. He's also in this movie coming up called Fetish Factory, which is about pinups versus zombies.
Dope.
So I'm kind of curious about that.
Bring it on.
It also stars Darlene Fluegel, who is Dr. Joan Alden. She was in Pet Sematary 2, Dark Band 3. You kind of know about that from last week. Also, it stars Richard Grove, who was the commander, who is kind of recognizable to me, but he didn't play that many different things. He was in Army of Darkness, Point Break, Almost an Angel with Paul Hogan, Crocodile Dundee.
Yep.
One of his last movies, I think. Also, it stars Mark Rolston, who plays Lieutenant Harry Brown, which I think he plays a really good dickhead, but he's the Lieutenant Dickhead, I call him. He was in Shawshank Redemption, Aliens, The Departed, RoboCop 2, Lethal Weapon 2. He was also in Eraser and The Crow, Stairway to Heaven, amongst many others.
All, for the most part, are incredible movies.
Yeah, for the most part. Yeah, I mean, he's a pretty well, decorated fucking actor. Mm-hmm. Also, it stars Richard Lynch, who plays Carl Glock, who's also known as the Weird Eye guy with the sloped face. Is that what he says in the movie?
Yeah.
He was in the Chuck Norris movie called Invasion USA. He was in the remake of Halloween, Lords of Salem. He was in the slasher called Laid to Rest. He was even in the Necronomicon Book of the Dead movie from the 80s. Puppet Master 3 called Toulon's Revenge, I believe. And then Trancers 2. And then the last person who plays the sort of psychic medium named Xena, it's Hillary Shepard. She was in 40-Year-Old Virgin. She was Divatox in Turbo, a Power Rangers movie from 97, and Tough Guys from the 80s.
Shut up. Is she the main chick in fucking 40-Year-Old Virgin?
I don't know. No, I don't think it's the same chick. No, it's a different girl.
No. Okay.
I think she might be the
Who
guy.
the fuck is she in 40-Year-Old Virgin?
I don't remember.
I've seen that movie a million fucking times.
Is she that one guy's girlfriend?
Oh my god.
Anyway. What are your thoughts on the movie, though?
I loved it.
Yeah?
I did.
I really liked it, too.
I really did. Like, I really, really, really liked it. I love the whole concept behind it. Super fucking cool story. I really liked it. I was surprised.
I was surprised, too. The Scanner series kind of, went from amazing with
shit.
Cronenberg to kind of, progressively shit.
Yeah.
Or what the fuck, at least.
Yeah, I would give it a good what the fuck.
But somehow Part 4, which is Scanner Cop, it kind of refreshes the story.
It does.
And it does it really in a very digestible way, I guess you could say, compared to, Part 2 or 3, which are, Part 2's okay. 3's kind of what the fuck's going on, guys? But this one is super cool to me. I mean, I was never really bored. I really legitimately was involved in the story. Even the cheesy moments were perfect. It just felt right. I was surprised. This is a really good 90s film.
Yeah, I was super engaged from start to finish, which was shocking to me.
Some of the ideas that they had were kind of original and fun and kind of typical in some respects, but the kill scenes were really interesting and fun.
Yeah.
And even just shitty little death scenes or just pushing people out of the way with his psionic powers was still really well done.
It was cool.
I don't know.
It was really cool. I mean, but I can't argue with fucking mentally exploding heads and shit. It's just tits.
Just head popping people.
Well,
they only do it once.
Giant, yeah, just once. That's the only time they actually really full on do it is about once.
I think they wanted to try to steer clear from the original Scanners, which is the most biggest fucking exploding heads moment.
Yes.
And if you guys don't know, there's a podcast dedicated to the name, and it's Exploding Heads Podcast.
Yeah.
And their main picture is the Scanners guy.
Shout out.
Which is probably one of the coolest head explosions you will ever see.
It's fantastic.
It's pretty great.
It is fucking legendary.
If you haven't seen Scanners, you should go see it. But
seriously,
your next movie should be Scanner Cop, because honestly,
Yeah.
it is so much better than I thought it was going to be. I was literally blown away that I enjoyed it this much. I'm not trying to like fluff everyone's pillow here, but like seriously.
we're not trying to suck on anybody's dick, but straight up like skip from Scanners straight to Scanner Cop.
I mean, I'd have to
do
watch
it.
2 and 3 again to like really be sure.
Just do it.
But this was good.
It was good. It was really, really good. And I can't, there's not words that I can express.
How much love is in your heart?
to you how thoroughly impressed I
All
was,
right,
which
Brittany.
how much I actually really enjoyed
Reel
this
it
movie.
back.
I can't, like, I'm trying to find the words that are appropriate enough to describe the fact of, like, how
It's enjoyable.
it was.
And
It
it's
was,
$20 to get on DVD. I looked it up and I was like, God,
That's
I really want to buy it.
cheap.
That's not cheap.
well,
That's expensive for an old movie
for
like
a
that.
DVD. I don't know.
I really want it,
Yeah,
though.
It's not that bad. Or you can watch it for free on fucking YouTube, because that's what I did.
I've heard Scanner Cop 2, by the way, is like NC-17.
What?
Yeah. I really want to watch it because of that.
Oh, it's on YouTube.
Yeah, one of the guys is like, he's like an infamous bad guy in that movie. So I'm kind of curious
Yeah, like
about
I
that.
straight up like watched this movie in its entirety on YouTube. And it plays the entire film from start to finish, and then it kind of retouches on main points.
I think you should own it, but
being an hour and a half. I agree.
If you want to watch it just to make
No,
sure
I bought it.
that you did?
I did. I bought it because I loved it so much.
Really?
And I was like, this is fucking fantastic. I need to fucking own this shit. Why
Damn
do I
it.
not? First of all, why do I not fucking own it? But no, I bought it.
Right.
Because I'm like, I need to have it. I'm still surprised as to how I don't already.
I don't know how I didn't see it, and I did not know that this was the fourth in the series. Somehow these movies kind of escaped me somehow. I thought that the series ended at part 3, but it continues
Yeah.
on. There's actually Scanners the Showdown, and then there's Scanner Cop 2, which I don't know if they're the same, and I feel like I need to watch these now
Yeah.
because I'm so confused because it's been years. I was like 16 when I watched these. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I don't know. Well, Scanners, I've seen that recently. But
Mouse had this like aha moment when we were watching it when it's like did the whole like Cronenberg like nod towards the beginning,
oh, yeah.
and he's just like, "Whoa, what?" And I'm like, "This is like the 4th installment for Scanners."
Right.
And
yeah.
he was like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" I'm like, "God damn it, Mouse!" Like,
He didn't know?
no, he didn't know, and he was like, "Oh, I'm interested now. Like, I'm ready." And I'm like, "God damn it!" Like, so he really liked it. Like, we both really, really enjoyed it. He was like, "That really wasn't half bad." He was like, "Is Alex making you watch another shitty movie?"
Yeah, yeah. I make Brittany watch shit she would never watch.
No, it's fine. Like some of it, yes, but for the most part, I end up enjoying most of the stuff that that we watch, and I am appreciative.
I try
of
to
it.
seek deep and just try to see what the appeal is for people.
90% of the time, I end up 90% of the time. I
Yeah.
end up being appreciative of the fact of you're making me watch movies that I either have never seen or I haven't seen since I was young.
Well, that's the fun for me is watching something I haven't seen.
I'm still young.
Yeah.
But I'd rather watch I'd seen Maniac Cop before, but it
Sure, me too.
was a long time ago. But I'd never seen Scanner Cop.
Neither
before.
have I, so we were fresh on this one.
Right. So it was super fun. So I like when you give me shit to watch that I haven't seen before or something that I haven't seen in 15 years.
Yeah.
That my little adolescent ass brain won't fucking remember from 15 years ago.
Well, to give you guys kind of a quick breakdown of the movie, just so you can kind of get an idea before we get into some of the other stuff. There's not a lot of trivia on this, but Scanner Cop is essentially, it starts out, the movie is about this kid who is living with his dad. They're in dire straits. It's clear that these people are scanners, both him and his dad. They have to take Ephemeral, which is this red pill that they have empty bottles around the entire house, but his dad is going crazy. It's been like 4 days since he's actually taken his medicine. He's given his last dose to his son because he doesn't want his son to go mad. When these scanners who have these psychic powers don't take Ephemeral, after like 3 or 4 days, they lose their minds. And so I don't want to go into details just yet, but essentially his dad dies in a cop battle because he's going nuts. And then the kid gets fostered by a cop on the scene who later becomes the commander of the police. And then when cops start dying by the hand of regular civilians out of the blue, with no reason or rhyme or whatever, the commander asks his newly appointed officer's son or foster son to use his scanner powers to sort of crack the case, because these people are like having flashes, like they kill people because they think they're seeing something else.
Yeah.
Something that
They're
scares
hallucinating.
them. Yeah. So you don't really understand why, but they find out that people are injecting other people, or like this group is injecting people with hallucinogens to kind of program them to see creatures, zombies, like anything that they're scared of whenever they see a cop. And the only problem is when his son uses his powers to try to read these catatonic people who go on this killing spree of cops, it basically, he has to stop using his medicine to use his powers to read their minds to kind of solve the case, which also coincidentally drives him nuts, which also drove his father insane and eventually killed him too.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of this like back and forth sort of thing. Did you like that part? I mean, did you like?
Oh, yeah.
It's a little way more complex than Maniac
I loved
Cop.
it. Absolutely. It's a more intelligent story
I think so.
and more original.
You're more invested in the characters, I think.
Absolutely. From the beginning, like from start to finish, you're invested in the characters. It's super interesting. Like right away, they bring you in and they make you sympathetic to this kid.
Right.
And they also make you sympathetic to this cop that comes in and almost gets his fucking head exploded, but gets saved in the long run. And then
his dad almost kills him.
Yeah, and then then the kid kills his dad.
Yeah.
And it's this whole.
Well, no, he didn't kill his dad.
He
prevented
stuns
him
essentially. And
The landlord shoots his dad.
But he stops him from killing the cop and then distracts him, and then that ends up getting him killed.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
So in a way, he lended in a hand in killing his father.
Right.
But so you build this rapport like instantly with this kid and this cop that saved this kid. Then fast forward to 15, 20 years later when he becomes, he graduates from the police academy and becomes an officer, and he works under his dad, but he wants to kind of break free from the shadow from under his dad, and it's this whole thing. And it's really cool. Like you already have this relationship with these characters that they built up really subtly, but they did a good job of building it up. And so I liked that. So instantly you have a rapport with these characters.
Yeah, I think so too, yeah.
And it was really cool how they did it.
I think it was pretty well written.
It was.
The acting was a little spotty at times.
Yeah,
but
depends on who it was.
It really just didn't take away from it because, like, they do some really cool, like, psionic powers and stuff. I don't know. It's pretty cool to me. As I mentioned before, this was Pierre David's directorial debut. Other than that, there literally is no trivia. And I wish, and I don't even think the DVD has any commentary or any extras, because this isn't like a very popular movie.
No.
But I feel like it deserves a lot more attention than it's gotten.
I agree.
And again, we're not talking like, this isn't an Academy Award winning movie. But if you're into like horror movies, psionic powers, scanners of any sort, it's not real super artistic. It's kind of straight to the book, but the story is interesting enough to make you follow along. And the kills and death scenes and the ideas that they use to kill people are really cool.
Yes.
So
I feel like this should have risen to the cult classic status
of Maniac Cop
instead of Maniac Cop.
I kind of agree, but I think it's because of Bruce Campbell.
That's exactly
and
what it
Tom
is.
Atkins.
And Tom Atkins. Tom Atkins and Bruce Campbell, if they would not have been in Maniac Cop, that would not have had the success that it did.
I really kind of feel the same way. I feel like it's just you got to pass a little bit more
I agree.
than this movie.
It's wrong because this movie is by far superior in comparison to Maniac Cop.
And just our opinions, guys.
This is just what we think. But I mean,
I still like Maniac Cop.
The Maniac Cop is great in its own way.
Yeah.
But this is a completely different, more unique and interesting storyline. I mean, granted, it comes fresh off the coattails of Scanners.
Yeah.
But this is their fourth installment where they kind of go a separate direction.
And it's 7 years after Maniac Cop, too.
And make it fresh. Yeah, and it was really cool and very, very, very interesting.
It should have more of a cult status following.
It should, and maybe
there are people that like it.
Flash forward to 10 years from now, it will.
Right. I would love to have Scream Factory pick up Scanner Cop 1 and 2 and put that out because I think they'd be perfect.
Yeah, it'd be amazing.
Did you have any favorite scenes?
I mean, it's kind of like a group of favorites, I guess. But I'll
Okay.
talk
We'll
about
try to
one
go in order.
specifically. I'll talk about one in specifically for me. My favorite scene, hands down, in the entire film, was the surgeon's hallucination.
Okay.
Holy balls! That
Refresh
fucking
me on that, 'cause-
zombie.
Oh, yeah.
That like skeletal zombie hallucination was spot fucking on.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It was so fucking cool, gorgeous. Like it was just absolutely like.
I mean, I could tell it was
beautiful.
a dummy in my opinion,
Yeah,
but
I mean,
I still
it was
liked it.
Still fucking for the 90s, like early, like
94.
Yeah, that's early 90s.
Yeah.
Like it was fucking cool. Like it just looked legit, and it had a really creepy and uncomfortable feel behind it. Mm-hmm. And you watched it and you went, ugh.
Yeah.
You know, like it was just out of all of the hallucination scenes,
Right.
that was my favorite.
Yeah.
And it just felt the most realistic to me. I mean, well, there are two others that are more realistic or would feel more real to you to fight back to somebody than a fucking zombie coming at you, but that one was the coolest.
Okay.
Of all of them. And I felt like it was gorgeous how they filmed it. The color scheme and everything was just really spot on.
Well, the way that they even program the people is
Oh,
really
yeah.
cool too, because they would show a picture of someone who's a cop and that they know, and then they would flip it to something that they were scared of,
Mm-hmm.
and then they would bounce the pictures back and forth to rapid succession of like going back and forth until the two pictures became
Molded.
the scary thing.
Right.
And then they were on acid, so they were highly subjectable to these thoughts or being programmed or whatever the fuck.
Right. So they're
I thought that was kind of cool
It
how
was
they did
cool.
it. Like, I don't know how legit that really is.
No,
But it
but-
made it was an extra effort that I thought was kind of cool.
Oh, and it was cool how they ended up switching it up later.
Yeah, no, they totally do. Yeah.
Because they like get smart to it and they realize that it's the uniform.
Yeah, so then they do the
and
badge.
they wisen up and they switch it to the badge, or they switch it to whatever they need to switch it to. like,
Right.
and they adjust it, and it's like really cool and smart how they do it.
Yeah. There was
They stayed on top of that shit, and I liked it.
if I had to pick one of my favorite scenes, I would say there was a medium psychic chick who was helping this bad guy who is Carl Glock in the movie. He's played by Richard Lynch. She aids him. She's like this goth, like psychic medium chick from the 90s. And she gets hit off the front of the car by Sam, who's the main character. And she squeaks and rolls, and she's dying. And as he's fucking, like, she's dying, she's like, fuck you, you'll never get me now. And he's like, I'm not done with you yet. And he literally gets in her head and follows her to hell. I was like, whoa.
That was dope.
I was like, that's really cool. Like, that's like an extra layer that
Yeah.
they went further. I mean, how legitimate or not it is, but he follows her to hell.
She says, "I'll see you in hell."
Yeah.
Right. And then he's just like, "Well, I'm not done with you yet," or whatever. And then he like straight up. It was so cool. He scans her.
Right.
And he follows her, and it was so fucking tits. Like I love
Right.
it so much. It was
And
so
then
cool.
and then not only that, like, not only is he scanning her as she's laying on the ground dead, but then as he follows her deeper and deeper into hell and all these like crazy shit things are happening, she locks him behind some bars and she's like, thank you, I'm going to take over your body. I can't wait to be a man finally, and you're going to be stuck here in hell. And he's like, oh no, you're not. And then he starts scanning her within a scan.
Yeah, it's like
So he
Inception
scans
within
deeper.
Inception.
It's like meta scanning, and it was like he scans her so hard. Oh man, he scanned the fuck out of her. He scans her so hard that her fucking head pops, and it's fucking great. I don't know. That's amazing. I
That
love
was
that.
dope.
I don't know. It's so cheesy, but
don't
it's
care.
just perfect. I don't know.
Don't even care.
Do you have any other scenes that maybe you like? Just like little ones or something?
Yeah, I love this scene. Oh my god, what's the chick's name? The character's name that stabs her fucking husband.
Oh, I don't remember her
Hilarious.
name, but
I'm
yeah,
sorry,
he was a
but
cop, and it was her
hilarious.
husband.
Her husband, Sarah. It was Sarah.
Okay.
That was her name. So they're in the kitchen and they're like cooking dinner. She's chopping up fucking shit or whatever, and the husband's like trying to like fuck her pretty much in the kitchen. And then he's like, oh, don't make me put you under arrest or whatever.
Yeah,
and
trying to pull the like role play on her.
Yeah, the role play thing, right?
Yeah.
And then he like shows her the badge, and then she just instantaneously, this is after they switched up the trigger from the cop uniform to the badge, because they knew that the cop uniform wasn't going to do anything anymore because they took everybody out of uniform. Mm-hmm. But they can't take the badges away. Because
they make every cop dress in civvies.
Yeah, they make every cop dress as a civilian, but they can't take their badges away because then they have no power.
Right.
So he takes his badge out and shows it to his wife in this like weird role play thing, and then she just instantly goes into this hallucination of him being this big fucking like creepy
cricket
bug.
Yeah.
It was this weird alien-esque kind of like cricket.
It looked like an alien to me.
Alien, like.
It did not look like a cricket that they showed.
No, but it was like a weird. It was an insect alien hybrid, basically. And
to be technical,
they show this, and it's so fucking cool, like that transition. Even though there was some fuck ups that they had in that part.
Sure, yeah, it looked kind of weird
when she stabs him and she takes the knife out, and there's no fucking blood
on the knife
or anywhere on her or anything, but she stabs him straight to the fucking hilt of the fucking knife in the gut.
Right.
And yet there's no blood on her or the knife. Like, please.
She was really quick.
No. It would never happen. There'd still be some fucking residue on it. But anyway, like, it was just, I really liked it. Like, even though she just, I don't know.
And these are spoiler alerts if you haven't already recognized. I'm sorry we didn't give you a better warning.
All the hallucinations are tits. Like, they were all really, really, really well thought out and done interestingly.
Do you remember the one in the beginning where the father has like 3 little baby heads pop out of his head?
Yes.
And then he throws a cop through a wall, then pops another guy's head almost. I like saying pop because
it was the guy that adopted the son is the one he almost popped his head.
He almost popped his head, and then dad gets shot, and the kid almost pops the landlord's head, and then the cop, who's the commander, tells him to stop, and they become friends. But I thought it was really the effects were really cool.
They were cool.
I thought it was really cool. There was another part in this movie where the step cop dad, the commander guy, he takes the kid to a doctor or scientist to see what's wrong with him.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, we're going to have to inject him with all this stuff. And he's like, oh, no, you
hell
won't.
You are.
Yeah, hell you are. And they walks out, and the first thing he said, he's like, damn scientist.
I laughed so fucking hard.
Did too. I was like,
so damn scientist.
I was like, that's probably something my dad would say.
Oh, you know, it is something my dad would say. Oh my god! Like, I was just like, did they follow my dad to make this movie?
Goddamn scientists. Goddamn environmentalists.
Goddamn people with brains. Like, Jesus.
One last one I want to mention is that the robbers try to steal a woman's car. They kind of like harass her a little bit. I don't know if they're trying to rape her or not. I couldn't figure that part out. But Scanner Cop shows up, and he's like, you better stop right there. He's like, I'm going to shoot you. And he's like, no, you won't. And then he flips the dude through the air like 7 times. Like,
it was like super like, what is that movie? Something's Hidden Dragon.
Oh, yeah, dude. He was on wires. That's for sure.
It was super like Japanese or
way
Chinese,
over the top.
But
it was cool.
Like, action shit, and it was amazing.
That's what I'm saying. Like, some of the cool stuff they did
Crouching
in this.
Tiger, Hidden Dragon. That's what I'm going for.
Well, I think we know.
Well, I know, but I just said Hidden Dragon, and I'm just like, God damn it!
I
gotta think of the rest of it. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon-esque. Bam! There it is.
I just thought it was funny, and then he flips him through the air, and the other guy's like, yeah, no, what the fuck?
He's like, bye.
He's like, put the gun on the ground. He's like, yeah, no problem, dude. Like, what the fuck?
Sorry, bro.
Well, what are your end thoughts about this movie? Poignant, quick little thing.
Fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
Like we've already previously stated, this should have the cult following that Maniac Cop does.
Yeah, guys, if you get a chance, I mean, like, if you could find a copy of this on YouTube or whatever, buy it on Amazon. It's $20, but I think it's worth it. Like, I am definitely getting this movie.
No, you can find the full version to watch for free on YouTube.
And it's made by Image Films too, wasn't it?
Right, I believe you're correct.
Yeah.
It is worth buying because I did watch it and I bought it.
Yeah.
Because I have to have it.
It's one of the, I don't know how it slipped away from me. Like,
No,
I don't know
that's
how
how
I didn't
I
get
feel.
to see it.
That's exactly how
But
I
it's
feel.
one of those, that's the moment that you look for, right?
Yeah, well, I love scanners. So I'm like,
Right.
where the fuck was the disconnect here where I missed this?
It just didn't get any marketing, probably.
No, and then like everybody just buy it. If you don't like it when you watch it for free on whatever
I'll buy
streaming
it from
device
you.
can buy it, like just do yourself a favor, at least watch it.
And now that you know that we are frothing from the mouth, I'm pretty sure that you understand which one of the two movies is our favorite.
Yeah, Maniac Cop.
Yeah, 2 thumbs up for fucking Scanner Cop. And 1 thumb up, 1 thumb down for fucking, I don't know, what are we,
I want to
fucking
do
Siskel
like
and Ebert?
half-mast
Yeah.
thumbs for Maniac Cop.
Yeah, it
They're in the
plateau
middle.
thumb.
And it's because of Tom Atkins and Bruce Campbell.
Right.
Why I'm giving it the
I can't
half-mast
hate it
thumbs.
for those 2 reasons
For
alone.
those 2 reasons alone is why it's getting a half-mast thumb.
Yeah.
It's not terrible. It's worth watching. I wouldn't buy it. I don't want to own it.
I will at some
unless I
point.
got it for free. Like, that's fine, but I'm not going to pay for it unless I found it in like a bargain bin for like $3. Like,
Right.
maybe. Scanner Cop. 2 big raging fucking thumbs up, including a fucking
Bonerific
dick,
thumbs. And by the way,
dick
this
up. Like, I don't care.
This is not our rating system. We're just making shit up as we go right now.
This is my rating
Yeah,
system.
we used to do numbers and everything, but we just don't take it very
2
seriously.
thumbs and a dick is my rating
If you
system.
don't know or haven't come by now, then you probably don't know, what
I
we're
can.
talking about.
I already came.
But guys, thank you so much for coming by this week. If you haven't already, check out Monday's episode. If you listen to Monday's episode and you finish this episode, give us a shout out in the comments and let us know, because we've been getting a lot of people writing us lately, and that shit means the fucking world to us. So thank you for fucking being a part of this. As we've mentioned 17 times already, sign up for the BTV VIP Club and get some free shit.
Fucking do it.
There's literally like 38 people who've signed up, so your chances of winning this are pretty high.
Yeah, and do it because there's some really fucking cool shit.
And I think 2 or 3 of them are us. So
we
it's
signed
even
up
less.
for our own
Yeah.
box, guys.
Well, we did just because we wanted to make sure we got
Suck
the
our
emails
dicks,
right. But
whatever.
I like knowing who I am.
Yeah, it was for a reason.
Sometimes I forget that there's an episode coming out.
I'm a person.
But guys, if you haven't already, check out longlivethevoid.com, and we will be back next week. We're going to be doing a review, and you probably already know what that is, but,
No.
and you probably already seen it, you sons of
About
bitches.
some stupid doll that
Yeah.
I want to kick in the fucking dick.
Check in with us next Monday. We hope you have a great weekend. We'll see you guys next time.
Stay weird, monsters.